Good morning, friends, and we have discussed trigonometry and the 4 videos we have made on the fundamentals of the trigonometry. And now, in this video, we are going to solve some of the questions sent to us by our students. And some of this is the questions coming from the one of my student called Ishita Rizwani. That the question goes like this: find all values of theta. So the question is, find all values of theta belonging to the closed interval minus pi to pi. Now those who understand the degrees, they can say it's minus 180 degrees to 180 degrees included, means the theta should be minus 180 degrees and this also is 180 degrees. Satisfying the equation cos square theta plus cos 2 theta equal to 0. This is the question. We have to find all the values of the thetas lying between the minus pi and 2 pi. How to solve? We know that the cos theta can be written as 2 cos square theta minus 1 is 0. So this becomes cos square theta plus 2 cos square theta minus 1. Now this is 3 cos square theta minus 1 equal to 0. So 3 cos square theta is 1 and cos square theta is 1 over 3. So cos theta is plus minus 1 by root 3. Therefore theta is cos inverse 1 by root 3. Now in IGCSE you are allowed to use calculator. So when you have found the one value of cos theta is 1 by root 3, then this one will give you some ideas in radian or in degrees depending on what you are feeding into your computer. Now if I plot this graph for the cosine, so we get like this. This is better like this. So this is our 0, this is pi by 2 and this is pi. So this is pi, this is pi by 2, this is 0, this is minus pi by 2 and this is your minus pi. So we have to find the values of this line between minus pi to 2. Okay, so if you use calculator in IGCSE and the IB board, calculator is allowed. For the Indian boards, they will not ask you this kind of questions, but you can think that way. So theta will be 54.73. I use my calculator to find this answer. So 54.73 is the answer. Now if so this is my minus 180 and this is 180, and then what value I'm getting? I'm getting the theta as 54.73. 54.73 will be, this is 90, so it is, suppose here 45, suppose if I say 53. So if I drop one value, so I get one value here. This is one value. Now if I draw a line parallel to so you see this is going to cut the value, and the one such value you can get from here. Now, if you use the symmetry, this appears to be minus 57. That is also correct, because this value of cos 1 by root 3 means if I use cos minus 54.73, that will also be this closer to 1 over root 3. So this is how you can solve the value of theta. This is for this question. Now this is another question. It says that solve. So here this is another question, and you are given tan alpha, tan 2 alpha equal to 6. And the question says find all possible values of tan alpha. So what we do, that tan alpha, we know that the tan 2 alpha is 2 tan alpha over 1 minus tan square alpha is 6. So this become 2 tan square alpha over 1 minus tan square alpha and 6. So 2 tan square alpha is 6 minus cross multiplication. If I do cross multiplication, I'll get 6 minus 6 tan square alpha, and that is 8 tan square alpha is 6. So tan alpha is plus minus under root 6 over 8, and that is plus minus under root 3 by 4. These are the possible values of the tan alpha, plus under root 3 by 4 and the minus square root 3 over 4. Now in the second part, the same question says that solve the equation tan alpha tan 2 alpha equal to 1. Okay, so in the second part it says that solve the equation tan 2 alpha, and there is a different question, so I just have to remove this screen or let it remain there only. So I can say that this is second part of this same question. Tan alpha tan 2 alpha is 1. So now you have seen that the tan alpha and the tan 2 alpha becomes 2 tan square, that is 2 tan square alpha over 1 minus tan square alpha, that is 1. So 2 tan square alpha is 1 minus tan square alpha, and this is 3 tan square alpha is 1. Tan alpha is plus minus 1 by under root 3. Now the question says solve the values of alpha, means alpha should be in open bracket 0 to pi. So here if I say that, then I cannot take the negative values, I will go only for positive values, because 0 to 180 means alpha should be in here and here. So in the 0 to 2 pi, and in the first quadrant is possible that the t ratios, all the tan is positive, and in second quadrant tan is negative. So we cannot have any tan value which is negative and coming in the second quadrant. So I'll discard this negative value. So the value of alpha is just 1 by root 3, and alpha is now 30 degrees or pi over 6. This is it. Okay, this is the third question, and it's asked by Mr. Arhan Ansari, and the question goes like this: A sine 4x equals B sine 2x, where x is between the open interval 0 and pi by 2. Express sine square x in terms of, so express sine square x in terms of A and B. Okay, how to solve this question? Sine square. So this question, we know that sine 2a, this is formula, sine 2a is 2 sine a cos a. So a cos 4a can be written as 2a sine 2a cos 2a is b sine 2a. So I can get rid of this. So I get cos 2a is b over 2a. Now cos 2a is related to sine square a, that is formula 1 minus 2 sine square a, and that is b over 2a. So 1 minus b over 2a is 2 sine square a. So 2a minus b over 2a is 2 sine square a. Now this 2 comes here and becomes 4. So you get your answer as 2a minus b over 4a. This is the question. Now in the whole thing, I made just one silly mistake, that this is the formula. I use this formula. So these should be x, because we are given question in terms of x. So this is also x, 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 and this also is x. This is how you can solve these questions. In the next video, we'll discuss some more questions sent to us by our student, and we do not want to disappoint them, so you can learn with them. And if you have any questions in the video, in the comment, you can send your questions too. Thank you very much. Subscribe to our channel. Enjoy learning. Okay. Good morning friends, and now we are solving some questions sent to us by our student. So this is a question given to us by a student called Ajinkya. Now he wanted to know how can you find the exact value of sine square 22.5. So exact value of sine square 22.5. Now we have to use the formula for the double angle. What is double angle? Sine 2, or if I go directly into the cos, that's better. Cos 2a is 1 minus 2 sine square a. This is the relation which we all know. And now you see this is 22. So if you say a is 22.5 degrees, then this 2a will become directly 45. So that is cos 45. This is 1 minus 2 sine square 22.5. Cos 45 values you can find from the table, that is 1 over root 2, and root 2 is 1 minus 2 sine square 22.5. This comes on this side, so 2 sine square 22.5 is 1 minus 1 over root 2, that is root 2 minus 1 over root 2, and this is sine square 22.5. If and now you have to put this 2 down, so this is 2 under root 2. So this is the value of sine square 22.5 degree is under root 2 minus 1 over 2 root 2. Now let me clear the screen, and the next question is asked by another student. Okay, this is International Baccalaureate IB Board question, and this is asked to me by Mr. Saket, and this question goes like that: express in the form of, so express in the form of r sine x plus alpha, where r is greater than 0 and the alpha is lying greater than 0 and less than pi by 2. And the question is 4 sine x plus 6 cos x. Now we know that there is a formula which we write, that is sine a plus b. So it goes like sine a plus b, this is compound angle formula, that is sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So if this part can be written like this, and now if you see this part, so this part looks similar to this. If we can convert these two things, or we can assume something, and I can get that form. So we will say let r is 4 cos alpha, this is 4 cos alpha, and r is this one 6 sine alpha. Means we are assuming a right angle triangle with the acute angle alpha, and for this condition you see cos alpha is r over 4 and sine alpha is r over 6. So now how to find this one? So you just square and add. So if you add, okay, I made a blunder. Okay, pause. Okay, so what we have to do, that we have to assume that the 4 is equal to r cos alpha and the 6, this 6 is equal to r sine alpha. Why? Because if you do that, this 4 will become cos alpha. So we will have cos alpha sine x and sine alpha cos x. So we are getting into this form like this. So how everything becomes, now you put it there. So we get r cos alpha sine x plus r sine alpha cos x. This expression becomes this if you have to assume these two relations. Now in this relation, if you see that the cos alpha is 4 by r, so r is going to be hypotenuse and the r will be adjacent. This is 4 will be adjacent, and similarly this will become 6. So see, cos alpha is 4 over r, and the sine alpha is 6 over r, opposite by hypotenuse. So we are assuming a right angle triangle like this. This acute angle is alpha, and then we are getting this relation. So now this relation can be written as r sine a cos b plus cos a sine b. So if I take r common, what I left with? I left with sine x cos alpha plus cos x sine alpha. Therefore I write r sine x plus alpha, and this is what we were asked to express in this form. So r sine x plus alpha. Now what is r? Because you are given this question, you have assumed, and when you assume that, you have introduced two more variables, one is r and one is alpha. So how to find the relation between r alpha? So you just square and add them. So just square these two and add. So 4 square is 16 plus 6 square is 36, and this is r square cos square alpha plus r square sine square alpha. So 52 is r square. If you take r square common, you get cos square alpha plus sine square alpha, that is r square 52. So r is square root of 52. So this is is square root of 52. Now if you divide this by this, so you get 6 by 4 r sine alpha over r cos alpha. R cancel. Tan alpha, 6 by 4 is 3 by 2. So alpha is tan inverse 3 over 2. So your answer becomes, this one is under root 52 sine x plus alpha, and alpha is tan inverse 3 by 2. Now sometimes they ask you to find the maximum and minimum value of this expression. How to do that? So for that, so now you know that the sine x, sine whatever is, always less than 1, less than or equal to 1, and greater than or equal to minus 1. So now you multiply root 52. So this will become minus root 52 less than or equal to root 52 sine x plus alpha less than or equal to under root 52. Means the maximum value of this expression is under root 52 and the minimum value is minus under root 52. Okay, so this is the question how this can be solved. Thank you. Now this is another question sent to us by one of our student called Mr. Sumangal Singh. So Mr. Sumangal, this is your question, and this question goes like that. Express, first the question says that express sine 2x plus cos 2x in the form of r sine 2x plus a, and then solve the equation cos 2x plus sine 2x equals 1. So first I have to express this into this, then we have to solve this for equals 1. So first for that, I can assume that 1 is hidden here and 1 is hidden here. So I can write this one as, this is r and a. So I can use r and a. So one is r cos a and this one is r sine a. So now whole expression becomes r sine 2x cos a plus r sine not alpha, this is a, r sine a cos 2x. So if you take r common, this becomes sine 2x plus a. Now what is a? So just square and add. So it become 1 plus 1 is square of this plus square of this, r square common, you get cos square a plus sine square a. So 2 is r square because this value is 1. So r is under root 2. And when you divide this by this, you get tan a equals 1. So tan a equal to 1, therefore a equal to pi by 4 because tan pi by 4 value is 1. So this expression now becomes under root 2 sine 2x plus pi by 4. Now we have to solve this equation for the identity sine x plus cos 2x equals 1. So here I write equals 1. So sine 2x plus pi by 4 is 1 over root 2. So you get sine 2x plus pi by 4 equals sine n pi by 4, and or better I just let remain sin pi by 4 only. Okay, exact value. So this we get 2x equal to pi by 4 plus equals pi by 4. But the question is that this 1 by root 2 can be, because the limitation given here is that x should be between minus pi less than or equal to x less than or equal to pi. Now, so this is our sine graph. It goes like this on this side and here. So we have to go for minus pi. So this is minus pi, this is 0, and this is positive pi. So 1 by root 2 is, this is 1. 1 by root 2 you get for two values. One value is pi by 4, so this is 1. So there are two values of sine which can give you this value 1 by root 2. So how to find those values? So we know that the sine is positive in the first quadrant, so the one value is sine pi by 4, and in the second quadrant also sine is positive, and that is sine 3 pi by 4. That is also 1. How? Because sine pi minus theta is sine theta, and then you put here pi by 4. So this is pi by 4 sine, and this is sine pi minus pi by 4. So this is your 3 pi by 4. So I can get the two equations. One is here pi by 4. This is 2 pi by 4 plus pi by 4 is this. Therefore you will get 2x is 0. So x is 0. And either you can take 2x plus pi by 4 is 3 pi by 4. So the 2x is 2 pi by 4. Therefore x equal to 2 pi by 8. So x is pi by 4. So you are getting two values. One value is 0. Other value is pi by 4. But if you go by this identities, then the two more values are possible for this, and that is minus pi by 4 as well as minus 3 pi by 4, because this identity and holds true in that form, because when the sine x is sine pi is periodic function, this keeps on changing. So these two values also needs to be included. Now if you want to understand that how, then just let me clear the screen and coming back to you. Very good morning friends, and in this video we are going to discuss about the trigonometric equations and how to solve the trigonometric equations, because the trigonometric equations are the equations which have the angles as the variables, and we have to find out the angles. So you have discussed our graphical things. We have discussed about the graphical nature of the trigonometric functions, and if you haven't, then you can watch our videos where it says that how to plot the graph of the things, and then we will be using those ideas, and that will be quite helpful. So the first thing I am going to solve, that if you see this equation, this graph, actually this graph goes like this. So this is like that. Wherever this is sine x, y equal to sine x graph. So now this one, wherever the graph is touching the x-axis, that is 0. So it means sine x equal to 0. Sine x equal to 0 where? wherever these values are there. And what these values? This is 0, this is pi, this is 2 pi, and this is minus pi. So we say that if sine x equal to 0, then x is equal to n pi, and where n is integer. So n is integer means 0 pi is 0, 1 pi is 0, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi, 6 pi, everywhere where the n is integers, all pi's are 0. Minus 1, minus pi, minus 2 pi, minus 3 pi, minus 4 pi, like that. Same way, if we go for the cosine, then we find where the cosine is 0. So the cosine graph goes like this. These are two primitive nature. Then the cosine graph goes like this. Little shifted, but this is manual mistakes. It should be just symmetric. So if you see the graph, this is y is cos x. Now where cos x is 0, so again here is 0, here it is 0, here it is 0, here it is 0, and these values are pi by 2, 3 pi by 2, minus pi by 2, minus 3 pi by 2. Means the cos function is 0. So when we have cos x equal to 0, we can say x is 2n minus 1 pi by 2, and you can take 2n plus 1 also, n is integer. So if I say plus, so put n as 0, then the two zeros are 0 plus 1 pi by 2. So that is integer, that is cos pi by 2. When you put n is 1, 2 ones are 1 plus 1, 3 pi by 2, and 2, 5 pi by 2, like that. So this is the odd number of things. Now if you go for the tan x, then y is tan x, and the tan x is sin x over cos x. And for this to become 0, you have the situation where the numerator is 0 but the denominator is non-zero. Means all the cases where this sin x is 0. Now where is sin x is 0? Sin x is 0 as here. X is equal to n pi. So the solution for the tan x is 0 is also same as x equal to n pi, and where n is the integer. So these are the solution for tan x, sin x and cos x. Now let me clear the screen, then we'll go for the other special. Okay, so now the special case here is that when we had the situation like sin x equal to sin something, let's say it is sin alpha. When you have sin x equal to sin alpha, how will you solve these kind of equations? In the previous, or you can say just few minutes back, you saw that when we have sin x equal to 0, we found x equal to n pi and n is integer. When we have cos x is 0, then x is 2n plus 1 pi over 2 and n is integer. When we have tan x is 0, just like sin, x is n pi and n is integer. Now in this case, when sin x is not 0 but it is some values which can be expressed in the form of sin. So sin x is sin alpha. How to solve this one? So better we'll do this like sin x minus sin alpha is 0. We know that when you have this kind of situation, there is sin c minus sin d formula. So it goes like this: sin c minus sin d is 2 cos c plus d by 2 into sin c minus d by 2. This is the formula which we have already derived. Otherwise you can watch my previous videos for that. So now here I'll get 2 cos x plus alpha by 2 into sine x minus alpha by 2 is 0. Using this identity we get this result. Now when the product of the two quantities zeros, it means either cos x plus alpha by 2 is 0 or sine x minus alpha by 2 is 0. Now see the condition. When cos is x 0, so when sine this is 0, so when cos is 0, when sine is 0, so we can use these two relations which we have already proved graphically. So when this means that x plus alpha by 2 will be 2n plus 1 pi by 2, and here you have x minus alpha by 2 equal to n pi. So that relation. So now since we are interested in x, so we say that the x plus alpha is 2n plus 1 pi by 4, and here we'll get x minus alpha is 2n pi. These two lines, and now if I just cancel these two, so I'll get x plus alpha equals 2n plus 1 pi. So you'll get x is 2n plus 1 pi minus alpha. Now look at these two terms properly. So 2n plus 1 pi minus alpha means odd multiple of pi, or 2n, because n is integer, so 2 times integer plus 1 is always odd, so odd multiple of pi minus alpha, even multiple of pi plus alpha. So when it is odd, the alpha is negative, when it is even, alpha is positive, and all these are multiple of pi's. So just combining these two, one relation was derived, and that is written as x is n pi plus minus 1 whole to the power n alpha. This is the relation. It means that the x is n pi, so n is 0 pi 1 pi. When it is 1 pi, so this is minus alpha, 2 pi, this will become plus alpha, 3 pi minus alpha, 4 pi plus alpha. So these two together, these two conditions together take this form, and this is how this equation sine x equal to cos alpha is solved. So this is the solution for the trigonometric equation sine x is alpha. Now after cleaning this, I will solve another equation, that is cos x is alpha. So now we are going to solve another form of equation, that is of the form cos x is cos alpha. Now how to do that? The same, cos x minus cos alpha is 0. So if you try to solve this, you'll get 2 sine x plus alpha by 2 into sine alpha minus x by 2 equal to 0. This is the formula for cos c minus cos d. What is, so for your convenience I write cos c minus cos d is 2 sine c plus d by 2 into sine d minus c by 2. This is the formula, and then using that I found 2 sine x plus alpha by 2 now. So it means again it's a multiple form, multiplication form, either sine x plus alpha by 2 is 0 or sine alpha minus x by 2 is 0. This one, if I take minus common, this will become minus sine x minus alpha by 2 is 0, or you can write sine x minus alpha by 2 is 0. So x plus alpha by 2 is, when sign is 0, what is solution? That is n pi. So x plus alpha is 2n pi. X is 2n pi minus alpha. And here x minus alpha by 2 is m pi. M is also an integer, I can write n also. X minus alpha is 2m pi and x equal to 2m pi plus alpha. So if you combine these two, you get one relation, and that is x is 2n pi plus minus alpha. This is the solution for this graph. This is it. Now let me clear the screen and then I solve the identity. Tan x equal tan. Okay, so here we have the equation tan x equal to tan alpha. Then we can write sin x over cos x is sin alpha over cos alpha. So sin x cos alpha equals sin alpha cos x. I just did cross multiplication. Then I write sin x cos alpha minus sin alpha cos x is 0. So this is sin x minus alpha is 0. So x minus alpha is n pi. Therefore x equal to n pi plus alpha. This is the solution for tan alpha where n is integer. So these are the ordinary cases and some more cases there that we'll try to make up in the next video. Thank you very much. Just subscribe to our channel and keep growing with us. Have a nice